Welcome, welcome. Today is Wednesday, July 16th, and it is Hump Day, right? Happy Hump Day, as you would call it. Um, now, first off, I'll start with USDTD. On the daily, we took the high first. We closed back in range. What does that mean? It means we're slightly bearish, right? Slightly bearish in this range between yellow, right? We have a range between yellow with open IRL on both sides. We're slightly bullish. Slightly bullish on the market, but yeah, slightly bearish in USDTD. However, this is the range low right here. We're about to get to. So I think if you're in longs, good, but I would just be careful because this is one of those places where if we do drift towards 4.2, I would actually expect some sort of reaction here at 4.2 before we then reject. This could happen pretty quickly, right? Into the next, August, the monthly. So what I'm seeing still is that we do draw down to the 3.0. And the weekly candle here, when we close, oh, hey, what's up, Joe? Welcome. When we close, we're going to close this red with one open. Even if we don't tap it today, we could tap it next week. But this weekly is going to end up starting red, drifting red into next week, right? So we're going to have a little bit more pumping, a little bit more. But I would be very, very careful because if you're chasing or, if you're still in longs by like the end of next week, I would be careful because that would be when I would expect the market to actually do a very heavy retrace by the end of next week. Retrace, back up to the 4.5 level. But everyone is going to be, kind of, scared, right? Because they're seeing the pumps that are happening now. They're seeing the pumps that are happening into next week. And then retail is going to be buying. Everyone's going to be buying this because this is a momentum push, right? And into next week, the charts are going to continue to show green candles. But the next weekly that's about to print is going to flip red and probably close red back into the 4.2 range. If we close red back into the 4.2 range, we're going to end up flipping 4.5 to 4.6. And that would actually be incredibly, incredibly bearish, right, for USDTD. And I'm putting it in orange. Red and teal is something that I already put in since, I drew this up since like early June. It's already playing out, right? My bias is already playing out. And really, but what I want to see now is a re-range. Everything here, this pump we're seeing is probably going to only last a few days, probably into next week. I want the incredibly high probability pullback, which is going to be the weekly that comes after that. I'm in risk-controlled longs right now. I've taken some TPs on some. I'm holding others with smaller position sizes, but I've started scaling into shorts. I'm going to swing short and continue swinging short up until the next weekly candle. When we do the retrace, I'm going to TP most of my shorts. And then basically I have on my channel, I posted long limits on range lows on like 4 or 5 different structures, literally 4 or 5 different ones. So if you're not tracking those limits, please check them out. Literally, I would expect them to hit sometime by the end of next week, and it will basically be the lows for most altcoins. And this will be the retrace that I want to look for at the 4.5 on the weekly, right? So patience pays, as I say, right? Between 4.5 to 4.6, we get this. This is going to be a high probability swing long between this range, right? Look at that. Right, if we push right to this 4.2, this is actually roughly the gold, what people would refer to as the golden pocket fibs, right at the 4.5 to 4.6, 4.7. And that would be where I would expect to see the real move happen, right? This one, which is going to be the push down all the way to like 3.4 to 3.1. And that'll happen over the course of the next month or two, right? This next pump the pump we're seeing right now is the only thing we're doing right now is reclaiming high time frame ranges. So if you're in ETH longs or if you're in whatever longs, make sure you TP by the end of next week, because that'll be when we start to see some heavy retracement. End of next week, we get this retracement. That's when I'm going to be full porting pretty much. I have limits on, like, as I said, 5 or 6 different things. And then this move here from the 4.6 to the 3.1 is going to be a monthly, I'd almost say like a monthly God candle, like a green monthly God candle all the way down, which will last probably over the course of like 1 or 2 months, right? Straight. So that's USDTD. And then, yes, I want melt your face levels. This is going to be a melt your face level. This is just us, this month is all about reclaiming those high time frame ranges, right? We're seeing the daily green candle show up on most things, but this is all we're doing is reclaiming ranges. Once we reclaim this range, close to confirm by next week, then we get the retest. That is going to be a high probability long all the way back down to 3.4, 3.7, 3.4 roughly. Cool. So let's take a look at some of the main ones, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, a few others, and then we'll kind of go into that. The one thing with Bitcoin, though, is that its structure is the only structure here that is topped out, in my opinion, because of Bitcoin dominance. We are below this range already. We tapped this fib. We're below this range. If we cannot close underneath the 50%, which is like right here, you see the daily gap right here. I'll put this in right here actually, so you guys can see. Yeah, so basically right there, and let me make this a little cleaner. If we close this daily, which we already dipped into it, right? I'll zoom in a little bit. Any consolidation here, if we're unable to close above this, then it's going to flip bearish, right? So the RR on a short here is much higher. I already am in a short. I'm kind of SL break even, I think, from like up here roughly. So if we break above this, I'll just close it. No big deal. But I'm just hesitant to do anything long here on Bitcoin. Still, the weekly closure under 110, incredibly high probability short there as well. And then high time frame, I'm seeing Bitcoin as topping out, even if we go back down to, over the course of the next few months. And this goes back to Bitcoin dominance, right? So let's check that one out. I drew this one up for you guys back in May, right? I drew up, I actually I don't have this box up now, but I literally put in a box for you guys saying this is the alt season bottom, right? We dipped into this. We were in a few longs, and we TP'd some of them. And now, my yellow, my teal didn't play out, blue didn't play out. It just really just goes straight down. Now, what's interesting here, though, is that this is great because the next weekly that's open is all the way down at 61. All the way down. Sorry, no, I'm wrong. It's all the way down at 50. All the way down at 50. So this weekly really is clearing everything out, clearing absolutely everything. And what's even crazier about this is look at this. We're already, and I'll clean this up actually, right here. These two levels are the only levels that we care about. I'll make them nice and thick. This thick red one right there, and I'll move this over. This orange one right here, right? Those are our two weekly OTEs between these two levels, right? We have an OTE at 705 right there, which we dipped into, and then we have a previous range high. If we can, and we did not make it up to the 7.9 actually. We'd never made it up to 7.9. We could return there later. I think we might actually return there later, possibly. But for now, I'm playing it range by range on the weekly. If we do close underneath either this red or orange, then any retracement is going to be bullish, right? Bullish for alts. So right now, the major green candles we're seeing on the daily, we're basically going to seek this low below 62.8, right? 62.8 is where we want to go to. And if we retrace, this would be incredibly bullish, right? I want to see a little bit more blood on alts over the next week or two, right? Week or two, if we see a little bit more green, sure, we'll get a little bit more green, but like the move here is going to be very small compared to the next week or two after, where we retrace back up to 64.8. And then once we get back to 64.8, this is going to cause this closure to be retested and the previous weekly to be retested. So once we get there, I would want to see the next move bring us all the way down. The next move bring us all the way down to like 58. And that's where I'm saying like this is going to be the monthly God candles in altcoins that people are going to want to look for, right? And they're not here yet. This is just us reclaiming those high time frame ranges. So the weekly that we want to see is this, right? And then up to 64, and then all the way back down to 68, right? Something like this. So I'll leave that on the chart. We can come back to it next week, obviously, and then just keep playing it level by level. So same thing with ETH, right? I'll take a quick gander at ETH. Same thing here. We are reclaiming this range. I'll adjust these a little bit more. I did take a little risk-controlled short because there was a weekly that we dipped into. We could have flipped that sooner, but now we're just accepting the higher range, which is totally fine. But really, what I want to see here is the same thing. All of these ERL levels, really, we can go like all the way up here, right? This is the peak right there. Once we get up to here, this would basically be the new range, right? So from orange or yellow, right? We go up to 36, 35, possibly 35, 36 on the weekly, and then we need some sort of retest to previous range, and this retest will bring us roughly to under 3K. I want to see 3K broken. That would be the most ideal level to then take the long to new all-time highs after that, right? Because it'll be clearing these. I think this is just the acceptance of this level. It is not the full completion of this level. And that's basically what I mentioned from my previous analysis here. But really, we cleared this monthly, right? This monthly right here. So I want to see us go back, and this would be incredibly clean because look at this. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps, monthly gaps here that we just cleared. So basically between, this yellow, I'll move these yellow lines up, right? Between this yellow line and this yellow line, I'll clean that. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry about that. I do that a lot. Yeah, so between those two yellow lines right there, super clean, right? Between these two yellow lines, I'll make this a little bit wider, and I'll zoom in on the weekly, right? We want to see this weekly retest between these two yellow lines. This is the high probability long. The high probability long, when I say high probability, I mean high probability to seek new all-time highs. This first pump is just the acceptance on the weekly. We get the acceptance on the weekly to 35. After that, probably, late July, probably in the next week or two, we then do the retest. This retest will bring us all the way back down to under 3K. Then we start loading the bag on ETH hard, because that will be the sweep, the weekly liquidity sweep, before we then seek all-time highs again. So do not think we're going to clear these in this first leg up, but I'm just still playing it level by level. Charts never go straight up, just or charts also never go straight down, right? Even when we did this, look at this. This was a straight down, but really we just reclaimed a range right there. Literally every single one. It's the same thing applies, right? We could go up and then just reclaim the range like that, right? So I would expect orange to play out roughly. So yes, hopefully that helps. Let's look at some of the requests from you guys. We got, yes. So some questions. If you guys have questions, post them in chat as well. Maybe a good time to TP on some non-core longs and buy back lower. Yes, don't want to tap into my positions I bought at all-time lows yet. That's totally fine. I would expect price to come back to give us more entries. I close out a bunch of my core positions just to stay a little more neutral. Um, I'm still shorting BTC. Yes, I think I mentioned that already. I still am in that short. I haven't TP'd yet. I'm going to keep holding because I do expect Bitcoin topping out. And then where do you see XCH going? Right, so I'll do XCH. This is one of my core positions. And I am pretty adamant that this is the all-time low. We will never see under 7.4. I expect this all-time low to hold from a higher low of 8.9. So the same thing applies here on this range. Considering this weekly was actually delayed, I wanted to see 12 broken sooner, but we never broke it. So really now it's just a matter of what happens on this 2 weekly re-range. If we cannot clear 12 yet again, which I honestly expect, considering market sentiment right now, too many people are bullish. I would want either orange or this to play. Like this would be I'll call it teal, right? Orange or teal to play out. I do not think I think we need to complete a re-range here on this structure before we can see a real move. I have, as you can see on blue, I already alerted my channel. I have a boatload of limits just waiting. Probably to go back. Right now I'm in let's see, sizing is 2.1, roughly 2.1% at 20x. Right now I'm in long 2.1%. I want to get this back up to 20%. That means I want to 10x my position size as soon as we sweep 10. So I'm going to go in super, super heavy. That's 10%, probably 12% of my entire portfolio, right? Once we sweep 10 at 20x, guys. Okay, I don't mess around here. So once we sweep this, I'm going to go in for 12% roughly of my portfolio at 20x, and then that will be the confirmed of this range because the next tap of 12 will break and mount it. And then after that, we're going to 20, and we are never looking back, right? Never looking back to 11. So it's just taken a little longer than I expected, but I'm going to stay patient. And then as soon as we sweep 10, I'm going in with 12% of my account on 20x. So patience pays, guys. Remember, I don't want a long here. I want a long after we develop some more consolidation in this structure. Sweep those lows, take out all the longs who are already long here, take out their stops. I'll go in after that with the 12% at 20x and then ride this all the way back up to 20 to possibly 30, right? Because this is going to be the monthly God candles that I'm talking about. These monthly God candles that extend towards the previous range highs. Now, again, with this structure specifically, we're reclaiming the ranges on the lower time frame daily. These are going to be monthly, green candles that appear that bring us into monthly ranges. After that, all we do is, we retest those monthly ranges and then continue, right? So it's going to confirm these all-time lows for most altcoins. XCH is just one of them that has just an incredibly clean structure to see all-time highs in the high time frame. And if you compare it against Bitcoin, you look at this chart. Anyone could look at this chart and say, wow, look at this. How bottomed out do you guys think this is, right? I'll just keep zooming out. This is the weekly. Look at that. How bottomed out do you think this is? Can it get any more bottomed out? I don't think so. So this is one of those things. Literally, look at this. Easy peasy. Right there, that orange line, that's the only line we need on this entire chart. As soon as we make one, and I mean one, weekly close above this orange line, the all-time low is confirmed. One, that's all it needs, right? Because then we have our nearest open IRL right up here. So look at this. I'll draw this up for you guys. We do up one, and then boom, right? Hold on to your pants because this is going to be one of those charts and especially one of those structures and coins that just absolutely melts faces in the end, right? And alts are going to do this. Alts are going to do this. Many alts are going to do this. Almost all of them that you could think of are going to do this thing, where we reclaim a high time frame low, and then basically just have an insanely fast monthly green candle push us all the way up, basically straight up with no entry whatsoever. So if you're not paying attention now, you have another couple weeks before these show up, but just be ready when they do. That's all I'm saying, right? So let's look at a few coins. Please put any other coins in chat if you guys want me to take a look at them, and I will definitely take a look at them. NKN, another great one. Same thing here, right? NKN, if you do the NKN comparison chart, right? Look at that. We cleared this low right here, right? Look at this. The only line we need is that orange line. That's it. That's all we need, right? Because if you notice, we never really made, look, how magical is this? Look at this. I put this orange line right here, and you notice how these candles rejected right there on that weekly, right? We never really had confirmed high time frame closures on this as well, right? And then we have a low as well right here. So really all we need is just a little bit more of a push to get some closures here before we see something like this, where we basically reclaim this high time frame range on the weekly, and it seeks the nearest IRL, which is like where? I mean, I don't even see. Do you see any? Let me look. Oh yeah, there's one right here, right? There's one right there. There's also there's an open one over here too, actually. So I'll put this on the chart, right? So something like this, right? We go like up, 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 and then up again, right? Something like that. This turns out into a market maker buy. Same thing with this. So let's look at the actual chart, not the BTC comparison chart. Right? Same thing. It's going to look exactly the same thing. So we have really good structure on this one. Incredibly strong curl to the weekly. We haven't tapped this weekly yet, which is actually kind of good. This is fine. We're about to flip this one right here. So this is an orange. We just flipped it. We closed above it. So this is already, I think, already confirmed the all-time low. In my opinion, I think this is already the all-time low. Now, how do we handle this? Well, we handle this by checking the internal range. So here, I'm going to go with, I'm going to remove teal, honestly, because yellow might play out. Actually, teal might play out. Depends on the weekly. But you know what? I'm going to just leave this up for now. Really, what I want to see on NKN is I want to see this structure built out. I want to see us push a little bit more, tiny bit more here, right? Just very tiny. If we get a very tiny bit more push here, then I want to see this range respected and then retested against 0.21, because that will, 0.249, that will be the high probability long, right? Because we not only have a range low right there, look at that, right on, I'll put this on white, right? Right on white, pretty much, but also those are the OTs already marked, right? The teal, there's two teal levels. I'll click that up a little bit, right? 0.22, 0.24. We get this in the next like week or so, probably by next month. We get this nice real retest here. This is going to be where we load our bags heavy, because after that, look what's going to happen. It's going to confirm this, and then confirm this, and then go straight into the next range, right? So letting the ranges develop on the high time frame will play out. It'll work. Stay patient. And we will get there. So yes, this is also looking pretty nice as well. So yes, awesome. NKN, yes, beautiful, great. Yeah, this is the first leg, guys, on NKN. I love seeing that. This is the first leg on NKN. I'm going to take this, as you can see, I have a yellow alert right here. So what we want to do is, you could take the long here, honestly, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? This low time frame, it's gonna reject. It's going to start rejecting somewhere up here, right? So the range here for a long is like kind of a little iffy, right? Look at that. That's an RR of like 1.24. So honestly, for me, that's not a good enough RR for a trade to take for a long, when I know that we're going to see rejection right here, right? So I'm going to wait on this one because I'd rather take the long from here instead, because the RR of this one is going to be 40. That's a 40 RR trade right there, right? Easily. 20, if you don't want to take it all the way up to the previous range, you could bring it up to this one. That's a 13 RR trade, right? I'd rather take that one, personally. So patience pays, right? So let's take a look at Dusk next. And then, yeah, I'll go through the rest of your request as well. I have Dusk marked up a bit here. Dusk is really nice too because we did do the same exact thing. Every single alt, look at that, yellow line, market structure break. This is bullish. This is what we want to see. But again, we got 3 drives up, 3 drives up. So really, either we're topping out here, we're topping out a little higher, tiny bit higher, not too far, not too much, but high probability. I'm going to remeasure this range. Let's assume it's right here, right? Every single probability goes into our long at 0.56, 0.57, 0.53, 0.56, right? We want to get that range low retest right at white. You see that? Right at white. So there's no retests right now. Longs here don't really make too much sense. But yeah, patience will pay, right? So same thing here. Because again, if you zoom out, look at this. I'll zoom out. Even from the daily range, this is an 8 RR trade, right? If we're going from the daily range acceptance up here, 8 to, 4 to 8, easily. Same thing, right? On the weekly, we'll do the same thing. The reclaim, if you want to take it all the way to the weekly, also good. So that's a 25 because all it's going to happen is it's going to go up to this weekly. There's a weekly God candle right there. I'm going to do a reclaim of that range and then boom, right? That's all it's going to happen, guys. It's going to reclaim this low time frame range, confirm the all-time low, reclaim this weekly, and then retest the previous weekly, and then keep going. We're pretty much in alt season. Alt season is now, right? It's starting. It's literally, charts are just starting to wake up, and we just made market structure breaks. If you think you're feeling FOMO, don't, because we're barely moving here. This is nothing. These are pumps for ants, right? Because what you're about to see, we're talking 1,000% moves in single monthly candles over the course of the next 3 years, right? Because of Bitcoin, right? Because of Bitcoin dominance based on the structure, right? As I said before, this accumulation lasted 616 bars. If you take the exact same measurement against the previous range, that's about 3 years. That's about 3 years of time. But remember, we only got to play it level by level, range by range, not try and rush into things, and we will come out, really, really good. Don't worry about that. So Zeus, there's a request on Zeus. I've never actually seen this one. Is there a perp chart? There is. I've never seen this one before. Interesting request. Let's check the top down first. Interesting. Not much to go on. It is flipping right here. Actually, that's pretty bullish right there. Oh, wow, yeah, that's pretty bullish right there. Cleared that low. That is really nice. Look at that. Ooh, cleared that low. We got 1 monthly on the high. Nothing else really to go on. Very smooth upwards on the monthly. We got 1 on the weekly all the way up here. What else? Nothing much. Nothing much, yeah. All-time low is in for this one too, I think. Yeah, this is an SMR right here. Weekly, right there. Oh, that's a really good one too. Good find. Holy smokes there. Holy smokes. That's a good find. Yes, so let's check this one real quick. I'm going to go down a little bit lower on the low time frame here. Zeus, it had a bit of a bearish pass to it, yes, but it cleared these equal lows, reclaimed range, right? And look at this. Oh, already back in range. Already back in range. So here's our yellow, right? There's the market structure break. We want to see this broken and possibly this previous SMR or this one hold. So let me just check the range on that, right? Let's do the range on this. We got our high right here. We got relative equal highs right there. What I would want to see, let's do range to range on both sides. Oops, let me just flip that. Flip that. Perfect. What I'd want to see is, let's see the weekly again. 120, nothing else on the low side there. 20, yeah, that is a little strange. Well, either way, this is actually accepting its range right now. So this is pretty good. I probably wouldn't long yet because we don't have a confirmed market structure break. But if we do, I would expect it to go to 3.2 and then its pullback to go back down to 7 before before breaking breaking this high, and then possibly seeking this one. So let me draw this in a path here, right? So path for this would be reclaim, market structure break, retest, go into previous. Oh no, retest probably will be here, right? That's the range low right there. I'm doing this kind of by eyeball here. So oops, that is not what I meant to do. Possibly 32, and then I want to see some sort of sweep down here, and then a reclaim after that. So that would be the most ideal structure, something like that. Could happen faster, but definitely bullish, right? Bullish here for sure, at least in the short term. And then let's check out a few others. So CSPR also very, very good. This one is another near and dear to my heart. I have limits on this one because it's ranging internally. So it's actually following my orange and yellow, and I posted 2 sets of limits, both on my channel. I have actually 3 limits really. I have 2 limits here and then another limit here. Once we get down back to this range, this is going to be a high probability long as well. So I want to see a little bit more consolidation here. If we can sweep this on 0108, this would be super ideal for a long, because the same thing applies to this, right? I could zoom out again. There's equal highs up here. This is going to go and clear this range on the daily. Basically, when this flips, it's going to go like this. It's going to go straight up, right? And then the retest will bring it down, but it will just continue on. And another reason why I like CSPR is if you look at the spot chart, right? Look at this spot chart. This is if we zoom out, right, this is at 1 cent roughly right now. I have some limits on it right now. But if we zoom out, we already have a higher low. This is already confirmed all-time low, in my opinion, and it's already confirmed the all-time low. So whether or not we range a little bit more and then possibly flip this level, that's fine, but I'm rather just wait for my limits. But let's zoom out a moment, right? Look at this. Once we reclaim this range, look at this. We're going to go reclaim this range. Look, that alone, this is the monthly candle I'm talking about, right? Once we claim that, this alone, if I can find the price, is a 228% move, right? 228%. Now, if we reclaim that on the next monthly candle, the next open IRL is all the way up at 39, right? We reclaim this, that's a 2,000% move, right? So you got to think big, right? Think big on the monthly charts, on the weekly charts. These are the real moves, right? So, and then if you go on the monthly, I have this marked out, but the previous range high is actually $7. And if we bring this up to even 39 cents, this is going to be over the course of probably 5 to 10 years. But this is a great spot pickup, in my opinion, right now. Because it's at 1 cent and its previous range high on the monthly was at $7 before we'll start to see some high time frame resistance over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, right? So I'm going to be playing this on futures. I already have spot on it. I'm going to keep adding. I literally think this is the bottom. I'm going to keep adding. There's no reason not to. So yeah, another great one. I'm going to keep playing on futures as well. I have some limits down here on the 001. I think I'll pull in my my futures chart here real quick. right? I want to see a little bit more retracement. I want to load up heavy once we get that, and then expect to ride it all the way up to 2 cents, and then up to 30 cents, right? It's not even on this. It's not even on the perp chart, but basically ride it all the way up to like 30 cents. So yeah, parabolic incoming. Let's see. So I'm gonna go through the rest of your guys' requests here. Melania. I'm gonna see how many I can get through now. I have about 20 minutes left, a little under. So let's do Melania real quick. Melania, I charted out for you guys, I think a couple weeks ago. Literally is following my path almost exactly. Again, this is re-ranging right now. I was going to take a long here. It would have hit, would have been in profits, but I didn't. So whatever, I'll catch the next one. It's just like a train or a bus, right? Sometime the bus arrives and you're just not there and it'll just go without you. It won't wait for you. But sometimes you got to go sit at that station and wait for that bus. But then when you wait for that bus and then it comes and then you get on that bus, it's a really nice, enjoyable ride, right? You get to see all the scenery, all the green scenery. And Melania will be another one of those green scenery moves, right? Because again, this is also confirming the all-time low. We already have a higher low right now. Look at that. Already have a higher low right now. So if we measure out the range currently, right, we're going to see something under 22 cents. Under 22 cents is where we want to load up. We could push a little bit here. I don't want to long here. I don't want to short here. I basically don't even want to touch it here. Because it's just going to consolidate. This is a consolidation. We could sweep the high first and then go back down, or we could just reconsolidate down. It doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter because I'd rather take the high probability level. High probability level is under 22 cents. Might as well do this time. I will put an alert right here on yellow, right? 22.44. If you guys want to mark your charts as well, feel free. That's the Melania long entry, right? We want to look for entries once we break that 22. I'll keep this up on the chart, but we will come back to this one, and this one will be nice because it's confirming that all-time low, right? We confirm that all-time low, and we look at the daily and the weekly opens. Look at that. Oh, this is so smooth. Look at all that. Every single one of those wicks, every single one of those is a short stop loss. Someone put their stop loss as a short right there. And it's just going to crush through every single one of those. Every single one. Impulse move. Big impulse moves, guys, coming. It's not here yet, but soon. Very soon. It's just they keep delaying it. These market makers really don't want us to have a lot of money, right? So they want to mess with us. So let's look at layer. I'm going to keep going through a few of them here, see how fast I can get through. Layer, interestingly enough, I drew this up. I wanted to see this wick taken, but it didn't. So what did it do? It actually, oh yeah, it broke. It broke. So it actually is, it is bullish now. It just didn't go as deep of a tracement as I expected, which is fine. That's fine. We got this open weekly right here. I'll put this in on the chart as well. Put that right there, switch that over, make it look nice, and then go to the daily, maybe a little lower. Yeah, a little lower. We got our market structure break here. We're going to wait for that. There's our equal lows we swept. I'll clean up the chart a little bit, and then we have our all-time low, confirmed all-time low right there at 60 cents, right? Because this is actually a higher low from previous accumulation right there. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, that is a low. It is a higher low right now. So that was the all-time low, right? So this is a higher low right now. So honestly, this is already pretty bullish as it stands. But here again, same thing applies. We don't want to, personally, I don't want to take the long here because where do you anchor your stop loss, right? It's like there's too much noise. I'm a high time frame position trader, so I don't really like this. There's a flat right there, but I would expect this break to happen. Right after that, it's going to be it's going to be a free-for-all because there's really nothing much else after that. Really, but I still want to see a re-range, right? Still want to see a re-range. There's not much to work with yet, but you know, I want to see the market structure break here before I even say do anything. This is nothing. This is nothing. I wouldn't take anything here yet, but it is bullish to the highs. Just how it gets there is going to be a little weird. I mean, if we want to measure if we want to measure this range, let's measure this range hypothetically, right? Let's go from those fibs, right there, roughly 68 cents break, right? So I'll do that on yellow. So I'll make this a different color, orange, and I'll make this green. We have 1, we have 2, then we have 3, and then this is a very, very rough. I'm doing this as quick as I can, so it's not very rough. We want to see something like this, teal play out, right? We want to see like a sweep of orange. We want to see a reconsolidation and then a sweep of the long bias zone somewhere under yellow. It could go. This could go deeper. Could go deeper. I'll make this yellow too. Basically, anywhere between these two. Basically, somewhere in this zone, right? But we still want to have a little bit more structure here. I'm gonna wait on this one. Hopefully that answers your question though. It's slightly bullish, but yeah, still not quite there yet. Awesome. What else we got? ETH. Peter S. ETH. Okay. Oh, and you want a screenshot of the ETH chart? Okay. Yes. So here we go. I'll pull up ETH again. We got 2 questions on ETH again. So this one is my ETH chart. I would expect. I will put this in. I'll make a screenshot of this actually. I'll put it in the 8-hour time, or I'll make it a daily, and then I'll screenshot just this right here, right, with the levels. Let me clean it up a little bit. I don't really want these green lines anymore. That used to be valid, but those are not valid anymore. And I'll clean this up. The blue would be the possible entries. Teal would probably be range balance. Yellow would be the long bias zone entries between these 2 ranges, right? The blue range and the yellow range right down there. Orange is possible invalidation, but really the only problem is this is the reaction here matters, because then we could either hold this or break it and then go back down to 2K. So I'll put this in a screenshot and I'll put this in chat here. There you go. Hopefully that helps. And then let's do, so I did XCH already. I know you guys are asking about XCH. As I said, same thing applies. If you guys still have questions on XCH, I want to see a little bit more re-range. It's in a very, very tight range right now. I'm still in it. I'm in it at about 2.1% of my account at 20x. But I want to bring this up to like 12% of my account at 20x. Once we break 10, I want to see 9.8 broken. And I want to basically just go in super, super heavy, because this is going to be the internal range. If we hold this as the higher low, this is the 7.9. There's so many levels of confluence right at 9.78. If we can wick into 9.78 one more time, all we need is one more time. I have limits on the lows. I will just basically I have limits, but I will do a manual add. I will just basically keep adding every single day the moment we break 978, and I'll try and bring my account size on it to 12, at least 12% at 20x leverage, if not more, maybe even more, because again, this is one of those charts that absolutely bottomed out, because once we do reclaim this range, all it's going to do is retest 11 and 12 and then just keep going, right? Just keep going. And like, if you zoom out on the weekly here, I'm sure everyone who knows, who's traded patterns, can look at this and say, this is a descending wedge, right? How bullish is that, right? Incredibly bullish. And if we've already confirmed this low, all we're going to do is break out and then retest this range, and then it's gone. It is gone like Donkey Kong, right? So that's XCH for you. Let's do XCN. I don't think I've looked at this one in ages, actually. Ooh, ages, ages, ages. It's been so long since I've looked at this one. I don't think maybe I've ever looked at this one. This one's a little weird. Little weird. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Got a monthly tap, monthly, actually, yeah, weekly. Yeah, not looking too hot. Not looking too good. Leaning, just from like quick glance, leaning bearish. Leaning bearish on that. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those that I wouldn't short, but I'm leaning bearish. Just based on the weekly here, this is kind of a little strange. We are, I mean, I'll put this in a different term, right? This is a weekly gap, and look at that. We are unable, right? We broke below it, right? We wicked into it to invalidate it, but look at this. We are retesting it again. So I would say I'm bearish in it until we break above the yellow line, and then mount it. So my bias here would be something like this, where we go into this weekly gap, fail to make a higher high, and then just go straight down, right? Straight down, possibly to like 3 cents. That would be the first one, right here. I'll put this level because that's a previous range high right there, right? So that would be the first bias I have. The second would be if we do mount the daily and we do market structure break this, right? We market structure break this. I want to see this broken. I want to see this retested, reclaimed, and then the highs taken, right? This, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole unless we make this week, right? If this week we are, or next week, 2 weeks, I'll give this 2 weeks. If this can't, by this month, right? This monthly closure, if this in 15 days, if we can't clear this yellow line, it's going down. It's going all the way down here. All the way down. Yeah, simple put, right? Simply put, that's it. I'm going to delete this. This is the bias I'm leaning towards still, right there. We reclaim this range. We bounce right here, fail to reclaim that weekly, and then just basically go. I mean, it wouldn't be straight down. It'd be more like a zigzag, right? Something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a good short, I would say, and if we don't market structure break this. Cool. I'll see how many I can get through. Next, let's do AVAX. Yeah, I know, Taz, you keep saying AVAX short, but this one is like, I don't know. Yeah, it's still going to 32 first. Reclaim this range. There's an equal low right there. I want to see this. This is already broken. Actually, this is already broken. Look at that. Yeah, it already broke. I'm going to clean that up. Already broke right there. So now it's just a matter of checking this new range that we make. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. This is going to be the new low, right? And wherever high we make there would be AVAX range, right? Want to see possibly pushing up a little bit more. I'm going to clean this up here. I want to see this go. I want to see break, retest, and then all the way up to like 32, retest, and then possibly 45. And then after 45, I'm going to be bearish on it again. 45 roughly would be the monthly tap, back down to 10. That would basically be my super high time frame bias, because right here, this has been making, if we aren't able to break this range here, this has been making higher lows, right? Same thing. I'm going to just tighten this up a little bit so you guys can see. If we can do that, if history repeats itself, if we are unable to break and make a higher high from there, then I would expect this to continue, right? So something like that, possibly sooner, right? Time-wise, I'll put this in a little closer, right? Something like that would be pretty nice, because after that we re-range, right? We re-range, blah, 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 and then we break, right? Something like that. Or we break there. If we can break teal, right? If we could break teal, then we re-range here and we break out sooner, but whatever. After that point, I don't really care. I'll short it here anyway. So AVAX still going past 30. This is already confirmed triple lows. Triple swept the lows twice, 3 times. One, yeah, if you zoom in, it swept the low 3 times on the weekly, right? We have 3 times. We have a higher low, already an internal daily market structure break. So now just a matter of waiting for levels to show up again, right? We want to see this re-range. Awesome. Bera and Ohm. Let's do Bera and Ohm. 1 second while I sip my coffee. Okay. So Bera I have up already. I have a path on it for now. Yes. So for Bera, for Bera, I'm still a little bullish here. But it's a little weird, right? The real market structure break, actually the daily already happened. So really this could be the low. I mean, I have a feeling this is the low, but it's still in the middle of this impulse here. It has not flipped. It has not flipped bearish quite yet. So I'm going to clean this chart up a little bit. Really the next, I would expect it to keep breaking structure and then re-range. Right now it's previous, like these ranges at $3 is kind of where I would see it stalling. But really, this is one of those where it could stall sooner. You got to keep playing it level by level. That's really it. Really, but this structure is very thin enough where we could see orange play out. We could also see yellow play out. But there's going to be a retrace, right? If you're not in the long on Bera, don't worry. Everything is doing the exact same thing, right? It's just on different ranges. This is another one that looks like pretty nice. Once we start to see a little bit more, I want to see a little bit more range build out here. And then I'll maybe look to take this one too. But yeah, this one is pretty much confirming its low as well. Really, really, really nice. And then let's see. I had another request. Ohm. Yes. Ohm I was in a long time ago with a long. I cut it because it never back here, right? We reclaimed. I did it. If you were with me then, back in May, we broke this range and we reclaimed it right here. Look at that. But we failed to make a higher high. So I ended up cutting it. I think it was like, break even or very, very tiny loss. Thankfully, right before it basically just continued to make lower lows, right? But here, I'm going to just clean this chart up. Let's start from scratch. What's cool about this is that it already cleared the previous all-time low. And we already have a sweep, right? So it made a sweep with 3 drives down and a reclaim on the daily. So all we need to do is wait for one market structure break. Let's look at one. Let's say this weekly right here, right? This weekly, which is like this weekly candle is pretty strong because this was the opening weekly range, which we're re-accepting right now. So if we're going based off of that, I want to see something develop within this level, right? Something develop here. So if we're in this range on the daily, like zooming in, right? I want to see this push up a little bit more up to here, up to 3. If we can reclaim 3, then the retest will happen after that. And then we can remeasure the range of whatever this impulse is, right? I don't know what this is going to be yet, but whatever this is, we'll remeasure this. I would expect it to be to 23, roughly 23 to 20. And then that would be a really, really good move to take because the weekly, that would be a weekly candle, right? Because it would be the next one from up here. it would be the acceptance of this range. Oops, sorry. Um, so yeah, basically I'll put this in better lines on the chart here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, perfect. Something like that. And then this weekly would be the next weekly after that would basically be the extension to, oh, you know what? If we clear this one, the next weekly goes all the way up to $1. Look at that. So this is the same thing, right? If we're going level by level, ohm just needs to reclaim the 30 cents followed by the retest followed by the 35 cents. 35 roughly, I'll put two levels here. It's roughly the 35 to the 37 cents, right? Somewhere in this is going to be the major one because when we reclaim that, the retest after will take us all the way up to $1. So that'll be fun when we get to that, right? So hopefully that's something you guys are looking out for. But we are pretty much bottoming out here. This is, Ohm is a pretty much almost done, almost ready. So yeah, I want to just wait for that one. Or you could take this on this leg and then stop, put your stop loss here. That's actually not too bad. That's not too bad. Oh, why is this position chart? This is weird. Why is it negative? It does that sometimes. Yeah. And then let's do to 34, right? No, this is 23 and then 34, right? Something like that. That's like a 2 RR move. It's not the best. It's not the best, but decent. Yeah. 1, 2 RR. Cool. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, the next one will be better. I promise. This is literally just like, as I said, everything is accepting the high time frame ranges this month. That's it. Once we accept the high time frame ranges, we get the retest. That's what'll be the higher probability. Awesome. Well, that is all the time I have. Thanks for joining, and feel free to hit me up, DMs. If you want anything, my DMs are always open. And yeah, I will catch you all later. Have a good rest of your day.